Welcome back. I'm David Knight, and in this segment, before Lionel joins us at the bottom of the hour, I want to talk a little bit about NATO. At the top of the Drudge Report right now, there's a picture, NATO cracking. And this is going to be a classic picture, folks. This is like the picture that you saw when they had the G7, and Trump was sitting there smiling, and Angela Merkel was leaning forward on her arms, was so upset, and the body language is there. The body language here is also great. Everybody is very upset. You've got Theresa May holding her hands down there like, oh, very tense. And President Trump is in the middle just smiling away. Why is he smiling? Well, because he's been proven right. Again, we have Germany's soldiers using broomsticks for guns, and they are not training at Hogwarts, folks. They're not using the broomsticks in that way. They painted broomsticks black to use them as pretend rifles. And I wonder if they were going pew, 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 pew. This is something that, we had a friend, and she was very anti-gun. And she was upset about the fact that I not only allowed but encouraged my sons to play with guns, toy guns at the time. And they don't play with guns. They played with toy guns. But they now have real guns, and they don't play with them. But anyway, she was very concerned about that. She didn't want her kid playing with guns. And then she said at one point in time to my wife, she said, it's just something about boys. I saw my son. He was running around with a stick in the backyard going, pew, 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 pew. She says, I guess it's innate. I guess I better stop fighting it. She eventually won, though. She turned him into a mama's boy. But I imagine that was what was happening in Germany. They were running around with their black broomsticks going pew, pew, pew. The general, Harold Kujat, a former chief of staff of the German armed forces, later described it as a huge embarrassment. You think? He said the unit was supposed to be ready to deploy whenever a NATO member was threatened. You know what? Like the TSA, there is no NATO threat. There is no threat to NATO. NATO is the threat. I'm going to lay that out to you if I've got time here. They are the threat to peace. In 2015, it also emerged that the German military was using ordinary civilian Mercedes vans as stand-ins for armored personnel carriers. Did they put a pretend turret on top of the Mercedes limo as they're driving? The Times reported today that all six of Germany's submarines, all six of their submarines, folks, were recently put out of service at the same time due to various repairs. Now, here's a suggestion. Call Elon Musk. He's got a submarine that nobody wants to use. Maybe he can give you a loaner on that, cut you a deal on it. The German's Navy inspector said, it does not frustrate me, but it is very annoying. I don't know what the difference between frustration and annoyance is. Maybe it's a distinction without a difference. The exercise is going to test their response to an invasion of Romania. And the question remains, by whom? Who wants to invade Romania? This is the essence of this, folks. As RT says, the uneasy alliance, the transatlantic partners, are facing contentious NATO summit. That's their headline. They said combating mistrust and not terrorism. The usually scripted snooze fest this year summit has been billed as a showdown between deeply divided allies. Yeah, they're combating mistrust. We don't trust them. We don't see a need for their mission, but we're supposed to trust them. Trust them. There really is a real threat. No, really there is. Yeah, it's those Russians. The Russians are threatening us. They say Britain has been playing the Russian threat card to boost unity among its allies. Things like the false flag gas attacks. And they just conveniently had another one just before the NATO meeting and then the subsequent meeting between President Trump and Putin. You just had Theresa May put out another phony false flag attack. This time, they killed somebody. First time, nobody died from the nerve gas, a Novichok that is 8 times more potent than nerve gas. Yeah, give me a break. Anyway, I've talked about that many times. I'm not going to go into it. Here is what President Trump is talking about. Only 8 of NATO's 29 members, and that includes the United States. So let's say that 7 of the other 28, only 7 of the other 28, that's 25%, are spending the 2% of their budget. And let's look at it a different way. 74% of NATO's entire budget was paid by the U.S. And this is money, folks, that is basically going to the military-industrial complex. I think we should rename NATO. You know, NATO is an acronym, North American Treaty Organization. So just change the name NATO to MIC, M-I-C, Military Industrial Complex. That is the reality of this. Basically, NATO, if they've got a mission at all, is to use the United States government as a foreign legion to create wars throughout the Middle East and Africa, because that's what is really happening. And so as we look at the, Mercedes that are pretending to be assault vehicles, the all 6 of the submarines in the German Navy not being there, them running around the military exercises using broomsticks as weapons and so forth. Germany is reported to have less than 20 operational tanks as well. Canada's armed forces appear to be smaller than the New York City Police Department. This is what, that's bad in 2 different ways. Number one, it's bad that we have a standing army in New York City, writing tickets for people and so forth. But the real issue is, who are they defending against? Russia's military budget was down last year 17%. 17%. Meanwhile, our increase in our U.S. military budget was equivalent to their entire budget before they cut it. I mean, this is incredible. Who is threatened? Is Russia threatening Europe, or is Russia threatened? Russia has got a lot more on their table. Not only that, they are in military spending. They're below the U.S., of course, below China, below Saudi Arabia. See, the military-industrial complex has got a brand new customer in Saudi Arabia, and they would like to have more sales in the European Union. And that's really what this push to get them to spend more money is about. There is no threat, certainly not from Russia. Russia has to defend itself from China, from North Korea, from the Middle East. All these areas are on their border. As a matter of fact, when you look at all of these countries that are on the southern border of Russia, it's what I think it was Gary North that used to have the phrase chaos stand, because they're like Pakistan and this stand and that stand, Uzbekistan and everything. I think what we ought to call it is Islamistan, because that's what it really is about. But I want you to hear a little bit of this back and forth between President Trump and the NATO secretary at breakfast in Brussels to give you an idea of how this is evolving. Here's President Trump.
It's very sad when Germany makes a massive oil and gas deal with Russia, where you're supposed to be guarding against Russia, and Germany goes out and pays billions and billions of dollars a year to Russia. So we're protecting Germany, we're protecting France, we're protecting all of these countries. And then numerous of the countries go out and make a pipeline deal with Russia, where they're paying billions of dollars into the coffers of Russia.
All right, hold it there because we've got to go to a break. Lionel's going to be joining us in the next segment. Basically, what he's saying here is not only are we financially subsidizing you, but you have made yourself dependent on energy with the people that we're supposedly protecting you from. Is there really a threat? Let's understand that there really isn't a threat. They try to make a case that it's about nerve agent gas attacks in Great Britain, or they're subverting us through our social media. Give me a break. This is so pathetic. The Russian threat. Okay.
Staying healthy on the go is just as important as staying healthy at home. But sometimes supplements don't work fast enough. That's why InfoWars Life has created a powerful new addition to the Super Blue line, Super Blue Silver Immune Gargle. Available in 1 ounce, 3.5 ounce, and 16 ounce bottles, Immune Gargle is perfect for the bathroom, kitchen, or wherever you go. The incredible new purifying formula is dentist recommended for daily use whenever you feel like you need to stay clean. As a powerful hand purifier or oral cleansing formula, just a small spray will help you stay clean when you feel surrounded by toxins. With powerful yet simple ingredients, Immune Gargle features Silver Sol Nano Silver for a powerful cleansing alternative. With Super Blue Silver Immune Gargle, staying toxin-free is easy and affordable. Help stop the spread of toxins and stay healthy with Super Blue Silver Immune Gargle. Only available at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.